remained, he began the long, difficult journey through the snow. The journey to the ant's home was far more difficult than the grasshopper had imagined. The path he once knew so well was now buried beneath layers of snow, and every step felt uncertain. He stumbled often, his legs barely able to carry him forward. The cold pressed in from all sides, biting through his thin body. His movements slowed, and more than once, he considered stopping altogether. But the thought of warmth, of food, pushed him onward. At last, after what felt like an endless struggle, he reached the small mound where the ant colony lay hidden. Only a faint outline in the snow marked its presence, but the grasshopper recognized it. With trembling hands, he brushed away the snow near the entrance. His fingers were numb, and each movement took effort. Finally, he found the small door, sealed tightly against the winter. He knocked weakly at first, the sound barely audible. Gathering what little strength he had left, he knocked again, this time louder, though it still echoed faintly in the cold air. For a moment, nothing happened. The wind howled softly around him, and doubt crept into his mind. What if no one answered? What if he had come too late? Then, slowly, the door opened just enough to reveal a warm glow from inside. The ant stood in the doorway, his expression calm but serious, just as it had always been. A wave of warmth spilled out, brushing against the grasshopper's frozen body. For a brief moment, he felt relief, but it was quickly replaced by shame as he lowered his eyes. "Please," the grasshopper said, his voice weak and unsteady. "I am cold and hungry. I have nothing left. I need help." Each word felt heavy, weighed down by regret. The ant looked at him in silence, taking in his condition, the trembling body, the fading strength, the desperation. Outside, the storm continued to rage, as if waiting for the ant's decision. The ant stepped slightly outside, closing the door behind him just enough to keep the warmth within. He studied the grasshopper carefully, noticing how much he had changed since summer. "Tell me," the ant said calmly, "what did you do when the days were warm and food was plenty?" His voice was not harsh, but it carried weight. The grasshopper swallowed hard. I played music," he admitted. "I sang, I danced. I thought there would always be time." His words trembled, much like his body. The ant nodded slowly. "And when I warned you?" he asked. "I did not listen," the grasshopper replied, lowering his head further. "I thought you were worrying for nothing." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The wind filled the silence, swirling snow around them. The contrast between the warmth inside and the cold outside felt sharper than ever. The ant looked back toward his home, where the colony rested safely, their stores full from months of hard work. Then he looked again at the grasshopper, who could barely stand. "You made a choice," the ant said finally. "And now you face its consequences." His tone was firm, but not unkind. The grasshopper nodded weakly. "I understand," he said. "I do not ask to escape my mistake, only to survive it." The ant remained still, thinking. Responsibility pulled him in one direction, while compassion pulled him in another. The storm howled louder, as if urging him to decide. At last, the ant opened the door wider. Warm light spilled out into the cold darkness. "You may come in," he said. "But only on one condition." The grasshopper looked up, hope flickering in his tired eyes. "Anything," he said quickly. "You must learn," the ant continued. "When spring returns, you will work, not only for yourself, but alongside us. You will prepare, as we do." "I will," the grasshopper said without hesitation. "I promise." His voice, though weak, carried sincerity. The ant stepped aside, allowing him to enter. The warmth surrounded the grasshopper immediately, easing the cold that had gripped him for so long. Inside, the colony was alive with quiet movement. Food was neatly stored, and the air was filled with a sense of order and security. It was a world built on effort and foresight. The grasshopper was given a small portion of food. He ate slowly at first, then with growing relief, feeling his strength begin to return. As he rested, he looked around at the ants working together. For the first time, he understood the value of what they had done, and what he had failed to do. Days passed, and though winter remained harsh outside, the grasshopper survived within the colony. Each day, he reflected on his choices, his regret turning slowly into determination. And when spring finally returned, melting the snow and bringing life back to the meadow, the grasshopper stepped outside not with a violin in hand, but with a purpose. He had learned that joy is sweetest when it is secured by effort, and that preparing for tomorrow is the key to surviving it. Moral of the story: those who use their time wisely and prepare for the future will endure hardship, while those who neglect responsibility may suffer, but it is never too late to learn and change.